Barnes and Leslie. I've got a disturbing story, Leslie. It's more Morning X true crime that I think you should pay attention to, and you could possibly learn something, and I'm being serious.
Maybe this will help someone.
I really think it would. A local mother in Kennesaw said she nearly suffered a heart attack from sheer panic when scammers used AI to recreate her daughter's voice to make it seem as if the daughter was kidnapped by 3 men held at ransom for $50,000. Check out this story.
Debbie Shelton Moore picked up the call last Friday from a local number and heard what she thought was her 22-year-old daughter crying.
She's saying, Mom, Mom, and it's just so authentic.
She now knows the voice wasn't real and likely an AI or artificial intelligence generated copy.
I'm calling out her name. I'm like, Lauren, where are you? Did you get in an accident?
The mother says a total of 3 men then got on the line demanding her to pay up or she'd never see her daughter again.
She's been kidnapped. We have her in the back of the truck, and we need $50,000.
Debbie's husband called 911 after they pulled up an app on her daughter's phone showing her location and then actually called her.
My wife is talking to her daughter right now. Her daughter's fine. Nothing's happened.
Lauren told her mom she was here at this QT in Kennesaw and even FaceTimed her to prove that she was okay, and police went to her home to confirm it.
You know, they always say, watch out when it hits close to home. So now this is a national story that is hitting very close to home right there, right outside of 285 in Kennesaw. Please welcome.
Your heart has to sink when you hear that.
It's scary. Debbie Shelton, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Man, you went through the ringer.
Yes, you can hear in that 911 tape in the background. That's me crying. And that's after, we found out that she was okay. But I was just so shaken for about an hour that it took me time to just compose myself and to actually believe that, she was okay.
What does that feel like for no one who's ever had to dial 911 in a panic situation? With all that going through your mind and you're dialing that number, we can hear the fear in your voice. What were you feeling in your body when that's happening? Because you just kind of lose your capacities, don't you?
Totally. I was on my phone with them with the scammers, because I was not about to hang up, because in my mind, that was my lifeline to my daughter. Because some people will be like, why didn't you just hang up and try to call her daughter? That's not how it works. Not in that situation. So, I looked at her GPS, and she was sitting somewhere on Cobb Parkway. She wasn't at home. She wasn't at work. She was just sitting on Cobb Parkway. I'm like, that's it. She's in the back of the truck. And my husband, which is her stepfather, called her from his phone and got her on there, and he's like, she's safe, and I didn't believe it. And then he took my phone and gave me his phone so I could hear her and then FaceTime her. And then he called 911 after that, because I was so shaken and upset that I couldn't even, function at that point.
We're talking to Debbie Shelton Moore, who was a victim of a fake AI call saying that her daughter had been kidnapped. None of us really know how we would react in this situation, Debbie. How realistic was this voice and this person? I mean, how realistic was it when you took the call?
So the thing that got me is right when I picked up the phone, she's like going, Mom, she's crying, and she's, saying Mom, and crying. Well, that has happened before several times over the last couple of years. Once she was in a car accident, and I had to, we had to go get her. So that was not unusual. And then she's had a health issue this year, and she's called me a couple of times crying in the morning, and I had to go get her. So this was nothing new to answer the phone and hear her crying out for me.
But that's common probably for teenage girls.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. That's why they do it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I could have sworn that was her.
So was it like a sampler? Like they had a few phrases or things that they could say? So you would say something and then you would get a reply from your daughter's voice?
She wouldn't, there wasn't any conversation going much with her, but I figured, initially when I picked up the phone and she's crying and I'm like, calling out her name, and I'm like, are you okay? What's going on? And I haven't checked my GPS yet. That was only after they said that, she was kidnapped or whatever. But I'm just thinking she's in an accident. And when the first man got on and he kind of talking, but kind of vague and all that. And I'm just thinking he's some good Samaritan. Maybe her phone got crushed in that accident because it's a different number. So I'm just like, oh, there's some good Samaritan letting her use his phone.
So they're asking for money. They were asking for $50,000, correct?
Yeah.
How are you supposed to deliver that money to them?
Yeah, exactly. Well, so there was 3 guys, and the third one was the one who, started all that. So he was basically, saying that she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. She saw something she shouldn't have, and we have her. She's in the back of our truck, and we're going to need $50,000. And then he's playing her crying in the background and saying, "Mom!"
Oh,
God,
man.
Unbelievable.
That's why I said I felt like I was going to have a heart attack. I think this is kind of gone international, but somewhere it says like, "Mom suffers heart attack." No, you just feel like it because your heart is beating.
Yeah.
And you're shaking.
Figure
and all
of
that.
speech.
Of course.
Yeah.
So when you're starting to think about having to get $50,000, you're in this call. Who hangs up? Like, how does the call end? Does he just hang up on you?
Well, he's like, first he was saying, we need you to meet us. We need you to meet us or something. And I'm thinking, what? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, where are you? Where are you? And the fraud department called me, even though, I didn't pay, obviously. But they called and they said they will say that. They'll say that, you got to meet them, but obviously you can't. So then it turns out to be like you got to wire it or cryptocurrency or gift cards. Not that you're going to buy 50,000 in gift cards. But when he was doing that and telling me to meet him, I had him on speaker at that point, and my husband, who's in cybersecurity, could hear him. And my husband, he didn't hear what I thought was my daughter crying in the background. And so my husband was like, that's a scam. And then when he heard my husband, I guess he could hear him talking, he was like, I'm going to hang up. And I'm like, don't hang up, because I'm like, that's a lifeline. You know what I mean? So, and then once my husband confirmed, and that's him on the 911 tape, obviously, when he confirmed my daughter was okay, that's when he took my phone and gave me his phone that my daughter was on. And that's when he called 911 from my phone.
So does the FBI get involved at any point?
Yeah, how did it end?
I mean, I think they're going to have to at some point. I decided, so this happened Friday, I think it was the 14th, and that following Tuesday, I had WSB contact me on Sunday and then some local news and sort of got the ball rolling. But Tuesday, I decided to, call my phone service and see if I could get a transcript of the call. They don't do that. And then I went ahead and just filed a police report just to be on the record. Hey, this is happening, which they kind of know it is. But I just wanted to be on there. You need to start adding up the statistics here. There's really nothing, they can do. The fraud department did call me the next day and talk to me again for about, 30 minutes and just sort of wanted me to go over the story again. And we're thankful that I did not give money because a lot of people do.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
And this is something that parents need to know and grandparents because, we know about those, scams about the IRS is calling you or, oh, you have a warrant or, fake jury duty and all that kind of stuff.
What you said was key, though. Grandparents, those are the ones that are really susceptible.
Yeah.
Debbie Shelton Moore, who just went through an AI extortion attempt right here in Kennesaw. Now, your daughter is fine, right?
Yes, she's fine.
I don't believe you. Put her on the phone. I want to hear her voice. I don't believe this. Well, I'm sorry this happened to you, and you got a quick education, but man, luckily your husband works in what? What'd you say he works in?
Cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, yeah.
I know,
man,
right?
What a wild story.
What are the odds? Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm glad all is okay, but this is a good lesson to pay attention and tell the grandparents, then when they're watching your kids over that long weekend or whatever, or whenever, just make sure they're alert. So, Debbie, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say what they do say to do is have like a code word within the family that you will remember in a situation like under duress like that, Apple or something like that. Like, okay, you have my child. Okay, what's the code word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone here, I'm going to go give it to you. It's Morning X. That is the code word.
Yeah.
Yes, Morning X.
Keep that on file. Debbie, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys letting me put my story out there. Thank you so much.
The Morning X with Barnes and Leslie. 99X.